Chapter 38:38, Sacrifice. When the millions of believers from the 10 palaces heard this, their bodies trembled violently. The universe of faith had a powerful weapon, and that was sacrifice. By sacrificing their own believers, the gods would be able to unleash terrifying strength. Similarly, if other believers were sacrificed, they would also be able to increase their strength. Everyone sacrifice 1/5 of your strength to stop the Dragon King from Dragon Palace. Hurry! One of the rank 7 gods from the Order Palace roared. Sacrifice! Sacrifice! The rest of the experts from the 10 palaces roared without hesitation. With a wave of their arms, a large number of believers behind them were shrouded. Enveloped by the power of faith, the believers were filled with despair. However, they did not hesitate. They sat cross-legged as the heart of faith floated above their heads. To the experts from the universe of faith, the heart of faith was their lifeline and the source of their strength. However, their sacrifice could allow their heart of faith to unleash extreme power. It could allow them to unleash the pure and terrifying power of faith. When the heart of faith floated, a rank 7 god flew up into the sky. Phantoms of believers appeared in the sky above him. These phantoms slowly began to collapse. The believers were sacrificing, and so were the surrounding powerful believers. They sacrificed their lives to receive the strongest power of faith. When Wang Xian saw what they were doing, he was shocked. His eyes narrowed and a look of surprise appeared in his eyes. Wang Xian shouted immediately. The soul spear in his hand shot forward. 2 soul spears covered the area where the rank 7 gods were. The 5 elements grindstone and the Tai Chi dragon plate attacked the group of sacrificing gods. An incomparably powerful force engulfed them. Block this attack and buy us some time. The rank 7 gods shouted when they saw this horrifying attack. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The millions of gods and believers from the 10 palaces launched powerful attacks at the same time. However, the attack of the soul spears and the Tai Chi dragon plate wasn't something they could withstand together. Not to mention Xiaolan, Xiaobai and Lan Qingyue. The terrifying attack directly crushed over. Pu-piu piu. Pu-piu piu. In an instant, at least 1 million believers were engulfed by the terrifying energy wave and died instantly. Continue. When Wang Xian saw this, he made a move and the soul warship below him dashed forward. Lan Qingyue and the rest launched the second round of attacks. Faith barrier. Suddenly, one of the tier 7 gods summoned a staff of faith. This staff was condensed from the pure power of faith. With a wave of his arm, a barrier appeared in front of the 10 palaces army. Faith rain. Another tier 7 god roared. Walala. In an instant, the rain formed by the condensation of faith dripped down from the sky. This rain of faith contained a special kind of energy. When the rainwater fell on the bodies of the gods and disciples who worshipped the universe, it had a blessing effect. When it fell on other living creatures and plants, it had a terrifying offensive effect. Faith destruction palm. Another voice rang out and attacked Xiaolan. Faith heart-piercing spear. The tier 7 gods in the palaces erupted with terrifying power. This power was no weaker than the strength of a rank 9 god. This was the power of sacrifice. What a powerful attack. Wang Xian's expression changed when he saw this. When the soul spear struck the barrier, it was completely blocked. The powerful faith destruction palm landed on Lil Blue's body and sent it flying. However, the price is also very high. Wang Xian murmured as he watched. The strength they had displayed was terrifying. However, it was the power of countless believers and the lives of the 200,000 gods and believers in each palace. The sacrifice was not just the power of the believers. That tier 7 god would not live for long either. If all his believers died, he would fall from the god realm and die immediately. Boom boom boom. Rumble. Rumble. Dragon King of Dragon Palace, we will never let you off for making us pay such a huge price. One of the tier 7 gods roared with murderous intent in his eyes. Let's retreat. Wang Xian said to Lan Qingyue when he saw the terrifying strength they had displayed. He did not intend to continue fighting with them. The power of sacrifice from the gods of faith was temporary and could not be sustained for long. In that case, he might as well leave. Avoid the brunt. Moreover, the cursed power of the tier 7 gods had already been transferred away and gradually recovered. Once they recovered, they would be able to unleash terrifying strength with the help of the supreme treasures in their hands. Wang Xian was prepared to retreat as he fought. He would wait until the power of the sacrifice was completely exhausted before he killed them. Now they were no longer a match for the gods of faith. All right. Lan Qingyue nodded and immediately ordered Xiaolan and the rest to retreat. Wang Xian did not hesitate and retreated immediately. Damn it! Stay here. The 10 type 7 gods who had been sacrificed roared savagely, and they immediately chased after them. Boom boom boom. Rumble. Rumble. The 5 elements grindstone and the Tai Chi dragon coil formed a defense. They fled into the distance. Arg. Die die die. The tier 7 gods who had been sacrificed unleashed a barrage of attacks towards Wang Xian and the rest. However, their attacks were all blocked by the 5 elements grindstone, Tai Chi dragon plate, and Lan Qingyue. In the blink of an eye, Wang Xian had widened the distance between him and them. The curse on us has been diverted. We can't let the Dragon King escape. Chase him. At this time, the gods who had gotten rid of their own curses roared and began to chase after them. After the curse was removed, they made use of the supreme treasures to unleash strength that was sufficient to deal with Wang Xian and the rest. After the sacrifice, even if 5 rank 6 space behemoths had died, they would still be much stronger than before. However, they could not maintain this strength for long. Once the power of sacrifice started to dissipate, they would no longer be a match for the Dragon King of Dragon Palace. Chapter 38-39. Swish swish swish. Wang Xian began to flee. The strength of the gods of Faith Universe had far exceeded his expectations. 20,000 cursed dragons had only managed to kill 5 6th order sovereign realm giant space beasts. Even a 7th or 6th order sovereigns could not be killed by the curse of the curse. Wang Xian had not expected such a powerful curse to shift. Every universe should not be underestimated. They all have their own strengths. Wang Xian murmured. But this time it was not a huge loss. After the 5 6th order sovereigns were killed, he would be out of danger. Although he was still being chased from behind, he wasn't afraid at all. Wang Xian was fleeing at a terrifying speed. Chase. Hurry up. Damn it. We have suffered heavy losses again. If we can't kill the Dragon King, we will suffer a huge loss. Hurry up. Behind him, the army of the 10 palaces from Faith Universe was in hot pursuit. Their faces were ugly. But in the beginning they had been relying on the speed of the 6th order sovereigns. Now that the 5th order sovereigns were killed, it was too difficult to catch up with Wang Xian. The gods were aware of this. However, if they were to stop and not pursue, then their losses this time would be too great. 5 6th order sovereign realm giant beasts. Many gods and believers had died because of the sacrifices. It could be said that they had suffered heavy losses this time. But such heavy losses could not stop the Dragon King from Dragon Palace. One had to know that they had mobilized the power of the 10 palaces this time. They had used the power of 10 palaces out of 24 palaces, which was almost half of their strength. And the result was so tragic. This was simply too embarrassing. It was not just a matter of face. Once the Dragon King escaped, how were they going to stop the Dragon King from hunting the gods of their universe in the future? They could not possibly stay together forever, right? If they could not even deal with one Dragon King, how were they going to destroy the entire 9-source universe? How were they going to chase the 9-source universe out of the Star Beast? They chased from behind, and at the same time they passed on the news here. They knew that they had failed. The power of the 10 palaces was not enough to kill the Dragon King. What? At the same time, within the Faith Universe, at the location of the Faith Universe's passageway, a group of palace elders received this message and their expressions instantly turned ugly. They looked at each other, and each of them had an ugly expression on their faces. What happened? Those deity elders of the 24 palaces who did not participate looked over and asked doubtfully. The alliance of our 10 palaces failed. The Dragon King of Dragon Palace killed 5 rank 6 space beasts. In addition, we had no choice but to use the power of sacrifice. Now that the Dragon King of Dragon Palace has escaped, it will be difficult to kill him. The Elder of the Order Palace said with a gloomy face. What? The combined strength of the 10 palaces was defeated by the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace there, and even caused your 10 palaces to suffer heavy losses? An elder of the palace heard it and said in shock. The divine elders of the surrounding palaces also focused their gazes, and their faces were filled with solemnity. They knew how strong the combined power of the 10 palaces was. However, not only did the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace escape, but the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace also caused them to suffer such heavy losses? This was simply unimaginable. Were all the experts of the 9 Origins universe so terrifying? That Dragon Palace is not simple. It is not without reason that a high-level race could force 2 peak races to bow their heads. An elder of the Heavenly Imperial Palace said with a gloomy face. The strength displayed by the Dragon King of Dragon Palace is stronger than the other peak races of the 9 Origins universe. Damn it, we have to destroy him. Otherwise all our plans will be for naught. Moreover, we have to be on guard against the attacks of the Dragon King of Dragon Palace. An elder of the palace looked around with a gloomy face. The other elders of the 24 palaces nodded in agreement. The Dragon King of Dragon Palace had to die. Otherwise they would be in deep trouble. Even the combined strength of the 10 palaces could not kill him. Are we going to let all 24 palaces attack together? An elder frowned and could not help but ask. Gathering the strength of all 24 palaces to attack the Dragon King of Dragon Palace was ridiculous in their eyes. The Dragon King is currently on the run. If we send a large number of experts to chase after him, he might escape to the Nine Origins universe. At that time, if he joins forces with the peak races of the Nine Origins universe, he will still be a huge threat to us. We have to use other methods to get rid of him as soon as possible. As the elder of the Decree Palace spoke, he glanced in a direction. The 9-star palaces and the 7 palaces of yours. Didn't you guys fight for a treasure shard before? That fragment possesses powerful destructive power. If you send people to gather all the fragments together, they should be able to kill a peak sovereign realm expert, right? Stellar field fragment. The elder of the 9 stars palace frowned slightly. The stellar field fragment is with our palace lord. We have 1 fragment in our hands, so they should have 7. At this time, we have to let go of our past enmity and get rid of the Dragon King of Dragon Palace first. An elder of the deity assembly looked at them and reminded them. Yes, the stellar field fragment possesses terrifying offensive power. If we can gather all of them, it is a supreme treasure of fortune. We have 1 fragment here, and your 7 palaces also have 7. If the 7 of them work together, killing a peak sovereign realm expert should not be a problem. The elder of the 9 stars palace hesitated for a moment, then looked at the elders of the other 7 palaces and said. They had once engaged in a war between the 8 palaces over a single treasure. At that time many rank 7 and rank 8 gods had died. Hence, the 8 palaces had always been in a state of open and veiled conflict. But now that they were facing the starry cosmos and the same enemy, they could still work together. Alright. The elders of the other 7 palaces hesitated for a moment before nodding. They had fought and killed each other over this supreme treasure. But at this time they could work together to deal with the Dragon King of Dragon Palace. If that's the case, let's send experts over as soon as possible to eliminate the Dragon King of Dragon Palace. The elder of the Decree Palace said. The elder of the 9 stars palace nodded. With the stellar field fragment and the group of experts, killing the Dragon King of Dragon Palace would not be a problem. The stellar field fragment was a supreme treasure of fortune. As for the supreme treasure of fortune, it was the heavenly origin fortune of the 9 origins cosmos. Such a supreme treasure was an extremely powerful existence in every cosmos. Even a single fragment could cause the peak races to fight over it. They did not even care about sacrificing themselves. Chapter 3840, Let's leave this place. The 24 palaces of the universe of faith are too strong. I'll be in great danger if I stay here. Wang Xian led Lan Qingyue and fled in the starry universe. The universe of faith was still too strong. Wang Xian had to pay such a heavy price to deal such a heavy blow to just 10 palaces. If the other party was determined to annihilate him, they might send even stronger forces next time. Therefore he was prepared to leave this place. It would be safer for Enlai to bring him away from this place. Wang Xian looked at Lan Qingyue. Qingyue, let's leave this place immediately. Alright, Xiao Xian. Lan Qingyue nodded and had no objections. Woo-woo. But suddenly Lil Blue, Lil White, and the others let out a low roar. Wang Xian and the rest were stunned when they saw it. What's wrong, Xiaolan? Lan Qingyue asked Xiaolan. Master, we sensed a strong energy in that direction. Xiaolan looked in a direction and said. Strong energy? Lan Qingyue was shocked when she heard Wang Xian. What energy? Lan Qingyue asked. It can absorb strong energy. We don't know the details. Xiaolan answered. Is there any danger? If not, let's go and take a look. Wang Xian hesitated for a moment. They had been on the run for more than 10 days. Wang Xian didn't know how long the energy from the sacrifice could last, but it should be a few months at most. Or even shorter. Currently, the experts from the universe of faith and the pinnacle races in the 9-source universe had produced 9th-order sovereigns. Wang Xian and the rest didn't have much of an advantage anymore. Of course, this advantage was against the 5 or 6 pinnacle races. Wang Xian was still very confident in a one-on-one fight. In the starry universe, the Dragon Palace wasn't afraid of any pinnacle race or any palace from the universe of faith. But the invincibility of the Dragon Palace in the past had been broken. Now he couldn't increase his strength, and it was difficult to increase the Tai Chi Dragon Board and 5 Elements grind. The only ones who could increase their strength were Xiaolan and the rest. Xiaolan and the rest were only in the 6th Order Sovereign Realm, and it was easier for them to increase their strength. If they could increase their strength to the 7th Order Sovereign Realm, Xiaolan would be able to go against Pinnacle Sovereigns. This power was extremely terrifying. Now that they sensed the energy, they could go and take a look. If Xiaolan and the others all improved, they would be invincible. Whoa! Xiaolan and the others let out a low roar and flew in that direction. After flying in that direction for more than 10 days, Wang Xian and the rest saw a humongous ocean. The water of the entire ocean was azure blue. The ocean contained a special kind of energy. Master Dragon King, this is the edge of the infinite starry sky. At this moment, Xiaolan's voice suddenly sounded. When Wang Xian and the rest heard this, their hearts skipped a beat. The edge of the infinite starry sky? The unbounded starry sky was even more important than the Your Wilds continent in the Nine Essences universe. The star behemoths that could survive in the boundless starry sky were all extremely terrifying beings. Even those at the heavenly primordial creation realm existed. Apart from this kind of terrifying giant star beast, it was the offspring of other giant star beasts. The boundless starry sky was a paradise for star behemoths, a treasure land of the starry sky universe. Currently, neither the Conviction Cosmos nor the Nine Origins Cosmos dared to step into the boundless starry sky. By the way, Xiaolan, what's the situation with the other giant star beasts that came to the starry sky universe with you? Xiaolan and the rest were brought to the starry sky universe. That was because the extremely terrifying giant star beasts had broken the universe's passageway, allowing the experts and disciples of the Nine Origins Cosmos to enter. They established the royal tribe of the giant star beasts, hoping to rule more giant star beasts and educate them so that they could develop intelligence. Xiaolan replied. The giant star beasts of the starry sky universe did not have much intelligence because this universe did not give birth to intelligent beings. Their inheritance and everything else did not have civilization. Everything was about hunting, growth, and evolution. This was their main theme. This was also the reason why they did not develop intelligence and civilization. However, the group of giant star beasts that stayed in the Nine Origins Cosmos had developed intelligence. Educate the giant star beasts? Develop intelligence? If the giant star beasts developed intelligence, the strength of the entire starry sky universe would probably increase by a lot. Wang Xian said, his eyes shining. Is there any danger in this ocean? Wang Xian looked at the endless ocean floating in the universe in front of him and was shocked. We don't know. Back then, with our strength, we did not dare to step into the territory of other giant star beasts. Once we realized that the territory was occupied, we did not dare to approach. Xiaolan and the rest answered. They were still too weak. Even now, they were not very strong in the infinite starry sky. Wang Xian and the rest nodded and looked at the ocean. Within this special ocean, there is a powerful energy. This energy is very beneficial to our cultivation. Wang Xian sensed it and was tempted. This place was at the edge of the infinite starry sky. Wang Xian felt that he could take a look inside. If he could find some treasures, it would shorten the time needed for Xiaolan and the rest to break through. Yes, we might be able to find some treasures. Xiaolan and I have the pure aura of the giant star beast. If we are careful, we will not be hunted by the giant star beasts. Lan Qingyue nodded. Alright, let's go take a look. Wang Xian nodded. He still had a random space scroll with him. If he really encountered danger, he could escape immediately. If Lan Qingyue and the rest were really in danger, Wang Xian could get in line to come over. With this thought in mind, Wang Xian gestured to Xiaolan and the rest. Xiaolan and the rest moved and dived into the ocean. They shook their bodies happily. Kun was more inclined towards the ocean. The Divine Dragon clan naturally preferred to live in the sea. Wang Xian felt refreshed when he dived in and swam further in. Their speed was not fast as they sensed their surroundings vigilantly. Swish, swish, swish. When Wang Xian and the rest dived into the ocean at the army of the 10 palaces, 8 figures flew over from afar. 8 envoys, you are here. When the deities of the 10 palaces saw the 8 rank 7 deities flying over, they were delighted and greeted them. Where is the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace now? Let's eliminate him. The 8 rank 7 deities asked calmly. Chapter 38-41. Huh? They have arrived at the center of the starry sky universe, the edge of the infinite starry sky. They have entered this ocean. At the edge of the infinite starry sky, a massive army was flying rapidly. 8 figures stood in the middle, with an arrow formed by faith energy pointing ahead. In front of them was a boundless ocean. These 8 figures were the envoys sent by the faith universe. They were the envoys who held the heaven origin fortune grade fragments. Envoys, are we still going in? There might be some risks. One of the rank 7 gods asked with a frown. The entire army cannot enter. Once the entire army enters, they might attract the attention of the powerful giant space beasts. One of the envoys shook his head with a frown. The infinite starry sky was a forbidden land for them. Although this place was at the periphery and wasn't very dangerous, they had too many believers. If they entered, they would immediately attract the attention of powerful space beasts. With the heaven origin fortune grade fragments, they might be comparable to the pinnacle existences in the pantheon, but they could only contend with a 7th order sovereign realm giant space beast. If an 8th order sovereign realm giant space beast came, they would be done for. In the infinite starry sky, 8th order sovereign realm giant space beasts definitely existed. The 8 of us will enter. This is the edge, and the giant space beast should not be of a high level. We should be able to resist or escape if we encounter some. One of the envoys said. Their army could not enter. As long as the 8 of them entered, they would be able to escape. 8 envoys, we will be waiting for you outside. We will cast the pursuit of faith on you one last time. It will last for a few thousand years. The rank 7 gods from the 10 palaces army said. The 8 envoys nodded. Soon, the pursuit of faith arrowhead became denser. The 8 rank 7 gods exchanged glances before flying forward. Continue the pursuit. They had to kill the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. At the same time, Wang Xian and Xiaolan stepped into the ocean, feeling as though they had returned to their home. Although the ocean here was slightly different, it still contained a massive amount of water energy. Wang Xian and Lan Qingyue stood on Xiaolan's body and looked around. As he flew deeper into the depths, he did not sense any astral beast's auras. This ocean was so vast that Wang Xian and the rest couldn't even sense its boundaries. They were flying in one direction. The energy of Xiaolan and the rest enveloped Wang Xian, preventing the other galactic beasts from sensing his aura. After flying for a year, Little Blue and the others suddenly sensed something. There are treasures over there. Little Blue and the others looked in a certain direction and said, Are there any powerful star behemoths guarding it? Wang Xian narrowed his eyes and asked. Dragon King, I didn't sense anything. Xiaolan and the others replied and immediately flew forward. Soon, a very special item appeared in their line of sight. It was a crystal that was sparkling and translucent, emitting powerful energy. The crystal contained water energy and a powerful life energy. Water gave birth to all living things. The special water energy also contained the power of life. It was similar to the wood element. The crystal quietly floated in the sea, emitting a luster. Wang Xian's eyes lit up when he felt the energy within the crystal. The energy within this crystal should be comparable to a 5th order sovereign realm divine fruit. Whoa! Little Blue and the rest let out a low growl and flew over. This is a treasure that contains life energy. It can enhance Little Blue and the rest. Let's consume it. Lan Qingyue said. For Little Blue and the rest to improve, they needed a huge amount of life energy. The main reason why they devoured the life energy of the pinnacle races was to enhance their own life energy. However, the resources of the Dragon Palace and the Dragon Blood in the Dragon Pool couldn't be given to Little Blue and the rest yet. The main reason was that the Dragon Blood in the Dragon Palace wasn't enough for them to improve. After all, Little Blue and the rest cultivation levels were too high. This crystal is just floating here without the protection of the star behemoths. It's like picking up a treasure. Lan Qingyue sighed softly at this moment. Indeed, it's like picking up a treasure. Let's continue to observe. Even if we can find one in a year, the gains will be huge. Little Blue should be able to improve in a million years. Wang Xian nodded his head. Such a treasure could be picked up directly. This was impossible in the 9 Origins universe. Xiaolan and the others swayed their bodies and continued flying forward. After flying for another half a year, Little Blue and the rest sensed something again. Go over. Little Blue led Wang Xian and the rest over. It was still a crystal that contained a huge amount of energy. After devouring it, Little Blue continued to search. Buzz buzz buzz. However, 1 year later, Wang Xian also sensed a huge amount of energy. Under normal circumstances, Little Blue and the rest would be the first to discover the energy crystal. However, this time Wang Xian could also sense it. There should be a huge amount of that energy crystal over there. Lan Qingyue's eyes lit up as she pointed in a direction. Wang Xian nodded his head. Without needing their instructions, Little Blue and the rest immediately flew over. The closer they got, the more intense the energy was. However, when they were close, Wang Xian and the rest felt the huge amount of energy charging towards them. What's going on? Wang Xian and the rest narrowed their eyes and were astonished. Roar roar. However, in the next second, a crystal-like star beast charged towards Wang Xian and the rest. This was the smallest star beast that Wang Xian had seen in the Starry Sky universe. It was only about 1,000 meters in size and could no longer be considered a beast. It was a powerful creature. What's this? Wang Xian stared at it and felt the energy coming from the crystal creature. His expression changed slightly. The Tai Chi dragon plate and the 5 elements grindstone immediately hovered around him. Boom. At this moment, the surrounding seawater energy suddenly condensed and formed a terrifying water dragon that attacked Wang Xian and the rest. It was an omnidirectional, indiscriminate attack. Block. Wang Xian saw the Tai Chi dragon plate blocking the back. The 5 elements grindstone immediately released 5 different elemental divine dragons that attacked the crystal creature. Little Blue and the rest also opened their huge mouths as waves of energy charged forward. At the same time, they shook their bodies and blocked the attack of the water energy with grayish energy. Chapter 38-42. Rumble, rumble, rumble. A sudden battle was about to break out. Waves of seawater condensed into water dragons that charged towards Wang Xian and the rest. Xiaolan and the others also instantly unleashed their defensive powers. The water energy landed on the Tai Chi dragon plate and the defense of Xiaolan and the rest. The attack from the Tai Chi dragon plate was directed towards the crystal creature. Brr, brr. The crystal creature let out a deep roar. There was a huge crystal horn on its head. The crystal horn charged towards the attack from the 5 elements great grinder. Boom. The 5 divine dragons released by the 5 elements great grinder were blocked by the collision. Ha! Wang Xian raised his eyebrows slightly when he saw this. We can fight. Lan Qingyue said. Yes, this crystal creature is very special. It seems to be formed from the energy of the crystal. If Xiaolan and the rest can devour it, they will definitely improve significantly. Wang Xian said as his eyes lit up. Brr, brr. The crystal creature ahead stared coldly at Wang Xian and the rest. Wang Xian waved his hand and a soul spear appeared in his hand. The 5 elements great grinder, Lan Qingyue, Xiaolan and the rest immediately launched their attacks towards the crystal creature. Swish. The soul spear in Wang Xian's hand shot out instantly. Whoa whoa. Xiaolan and the rest let out a deep roar. Waves of grayish energy crushed towards the crystal creature from their massive bodies. Brr, brr. The crystal creature let out a deep roar and the seawater behind it started to churn. It was as though the entire ocean was under its control. The endless seawater formed a crystal creature that looked exactly the same as it charged towards Wang Xian and the rest. What a powerful crystal creature. However, it should not have reached the 7th order sovereign realm. Yet, it possesses the strength to kill a 6th order sovereign realm expert in an instant. Wang Xian narrowed his eyes when he saw the attack. Another soul spear appeared in his hand. He threw it with all his might towards the crystal creature. Brr, brr. The 5 elements revolved on the 5 elements great grinder. The head of a water divine dragon popped out and a wave of majestic water energy surged forward. The crystal creatures formed from the seawater collapsed rapidly. The grayish energy of Lan Qingyue and the others seemed to form a special starry universe wherever it passed. Under the cover of this energy, they quickly attacked the crystal creature. The soul spear ignored the attack and instantly arrived in front of the crystal creature. Roar. The crystal creature sensed Wang Xian's attack and roared furiously. The next moment, his figure quickly turned illusory, as if he had completely merged with the seawater. At this instant, Wang Xian felt his heart tighten as a wave of energy attacked him. With a thought, a soul battleship appeared around him and formed a line of defense. The Tai Chi dragon plate quickly covered his body and turned into a dragon robe. Bam! The defense formed by the soul battleship quickly collapsed, and his attack landed on the Tai Chi dragon plate. The Tai Chi dragon coil spun, resisting with all its might. Bam bam bam. Waves of energy landed on the Tai Chi dragon plate. The impact made Wang Xian's expression change drastically. Fortunately, the Tai Chi dragon plate blocked its attack. Furthermore, a wave of backlash surged towards him. Kaka. Cracks appeared on the body of the crystal creature. Wang Xian focused his eyes and waved his arm. A gust of wind and thunder force landed on its body. The crystal creature let out an indignant roar as its figure quickly turned illusory. When he reappeared, he was already under Whitey's body. Its horrifying crystal horn attacked Xiaobai directly. Bam! A huge wound appeared on Xiaobai's body instantly. What a fast speed! What a strange speed! Lan Qingyue was shocked when she saw this. She moved and landed on Xiaobai's body instantly. A wave of energy landed on Xiaobai's body and healed its injuries. 45 degrees to the front right, 10,000 meters away. Wang Xian shouted as his expression changed drastically when he saw the horrifying speed. The chains on the 5 elements grindstone shot towards that direction. Xiaolan let out a furious roar as well. It moved and opened its huge mouth to devour the crystal creature. It's dodging. The crystal creature's speed is too horrifying. We have to trap it in an area. Xiaolan Kuan domain. However, when they attacked it, they sensed that the crystal creature had disappeared instantly. This horrifying speed was several times faster than Xiaolan and the 5 elements grindstone. In terms of speed, they weren't on the same level. Wang Xian was only able to lock onto its position because of the unbeginning Sacred Wings Void Rendezvous. However, Wang Xian could sense that the Void Rendezvous was disappearing at a horrifying speed. Woo woo woo. Woo woo woo. At this instant, Xiaolan let out a low growl upon hearing Wang Xian's command. Xiao Zhu let out a low growl as well, and the surrounding scene changed instantly. Walala. Seawater appeared in the Kuan domain? When the Kuan domain appeared, a space was formed. However, to Lan Qingyue's surprise, seawater appeared in the Kuan domain as well. This was something that she had never encountered before. The energy of the crystal creature had invaded the Kuan domain. The Kuan domain can only last for 5 minutes. Xiaolan said. We have to get rid of it within 5 minutes. Otherwise we won't be able to kill it. The speed is too fast. Wang Xian focused his gaze and looked towards a direction. He could sense that the crystal creature was right there. With a thought, the 5 elements grindstone enlarged. 5 elements annihilation disc. The best way to deal with a fast and powerful enemy was to attack in a range. In the past, it was others who dealt with Wang Xian in this manner. This was the first time he dealt with a creature in this manner. The crystal creature's speed was beyond their imagination. Its attack power and speed far surpassed the 6th order sovereigns like Xiaolan and the rest. If it weren't for the fact that Wang Xian's group was stronger than the rest, it could easily kill a 6th order sovereign realm space beast with its speed alone. Boom. Boom. Brr. Brr. The 5 elements annihilation disc appeared and engulfed the entire Kuan domain. The crystal creature couldn't avoid such an indiscriminate attack. The destructive energy shot towards him. The crystal creature had no choice but to show itself to block it. Swish swish. As soon as Wang Xian saw it, he shot out a soul spear towards it. At the same time, Lan Qingyue and Kuan formed their attacks. It was also a soul spear. 6 soul spears shot towards it. Chapter 38-43, Roar. Brr. Seeing the attacks from Wang Xian and the rest, the crystal creature let out a furious roar. It did not dare to take the attack head-on. 6 long spears darted towards it. Once it was hit, it would definitely die. The crystal creature dodged to the side immediately. However, when it dodged to the side, the attack from the 5 elements annihilation plate landed on its body. The powerful attack caused cracks to appear on its body. This time the cracks covered its entire body. Continue. Lan Qingyue shouted. She moved her palm and a grayish palm pressed towards the crystal creature. Xiaolan and the rest opened their mouths and injected energy into the palm. The huge and horrifying palm arrived at the head of the crystal creature. Wang Xian waved his arm and the soul warship below him rammed towards it. The area of effect attack engulfed it once again. Brr. Brr. The crystal creature roared and instantly appeared at the edge of the Kuan domain. Endless seawater attacked the Kuan domain. It wanted to break the Kuan domain. As long as it could leave the Kuan domain, it could escape easily. Otherwise, what awaited it would be death. It won't be that easy to escape. Wang Xian moved and the divine dragons of light and darkness circled around him. He used his physical strength to launch an attack at him directly. The 5 elements grindstone also smashed towards the creature. When the crystal creature sensed the attack of Wang Xian and the rest, it was filled with fear. It immediately stopped attacking the Kuan domain. All the seawater surged towards its body and formed a strong defense. Boom. Lan Qingyue and the rest landed their palms on it. The defense of the crystal creature had withstood the attack. Bam. However, the 5 elements grindstone was already in front of it. The entire grindstone was covered in flames as it smashed towards the creature. Boom. The immense force caused cracks to appear on the body of the crystal creature. Wang Xian followed closely behind and his arms turned into dragon claws. The dragon claws of light and darkness overlapped and smashed heavily on the creature. Pop, pop, pop. In the next instant, the body of the crystal creature turned into glass. Pieces of crystals fell from its body. Every piece of crystal contained boundless energy. Wang Xian was delighted when he saw this. Whale fist. Lan Qingyue swayed her body and continued to punch the crystal creature with an ordinary punch. Her punch seemed to contain the power of 3 Kuan. Bam. The punch landed on the crystal creature's body, and its body completely collapsed. His entire body transformed into pieces of crystalline energy. Dead. When Wang Xian saw the crystal creature crumbling completely, he was elated. This crystal creature is really powerful. If we hadn't trapped it, we wouldn't have been able to kill it. Lan Qingyue said with a smile. Indeed, this crystal creature is simply too fast. Moreover, its attack power is also very high. If it wanted to escape from the outside, it would be a piece of cake. Wang Xian nodded his head. If he hadn't teamed up with Lan Qingyue, ordinary experts wouldn't have been able to do anything to him. One had to know that if Wang Xian, Lan Qingyue, and the rest joined forces, they could rival a dozen 6th-order sovereign realm space beasts. If he couldn't restrict his movements, Wang Xian felt that even a 7th-order sovereign realm space beast would have a hard time capturing him. Wang Xian moved. With a wave of his arm, he kept the crystals. Every crystal contained a massive amount of energy. Wang Xian was also able to absorb this energy. However, he wasn't short of resources to improve himself. With a wave of his arm, he tossed them to Xiaolan. At present, they were prepared to nurture Xiaolan with all their might. Their priority was to raise Xiaolan to the 7th-order sovereign realm. Whoa! Xiaolan swallowed all the crystals and let out a joyful sound. How much more energy do I need to improve myself? Wang Xian asked Xiaolan with a smile. Dragon King, I need to kill at least 3 more of these crystal creatures before I can improve myself. Xiaolan reported. 3? Wang Xian raised an eyebrow. This number was a little too much. They were lucky to be able to kill this crystal creature this time. This crystal creature was a little arrogant. Instead of fleeing, it wanted to engage in a battle with them. If it had fled immediately, Wang Xian and the rest wouldn't have been able to kill it. Let's take it slow. Wang Xian wasn't in a hurry. He wanted to improve himself slowly. As long as Xiaolan improved, he could continue to fight the gods of the Faith universe. At that time, he would be able to obtain a terrifying amount of resources. Whoa! With this thought in mind, Xiaolan and the rest let out a deep roar, and the Kuan domain vanished instantly. However, when they appeared in the sea, Lan Qingyue narrowed her eyes and looked to the left. Xiaoxian, I can sense the energy of the experts from the Faith universe. They are coming after us. Lan Qingyue said immediately. They are coming after us? How dare the 10 million troops from the 10 palaces come here? Aren't they afraid of the galactic beasts? Wang Xian revealed a surprised look. He said, I don't think they are from the army of the Faith universe. They only have 8 streams of energy and the strength of a 7th-order god. Lan Qingyue sensed and said, 8 7th-order gods? They are coming after us? Do they have any trump cards? Wang Xian didn't let his guard down when he heard this. Instead, he revealed a solemn expression. Let's go. Don't clash with them for now. Wang Xian hesitated for 2 seconds before speaking. Lan Qingyue nodded. 8 7th-order gods dared to chase after them. It was impossible for them to not have any trump cards. Wang Xian and the rest had completely exposed their strength. They must have some trump cards to chase after them under such circumstances. A powerful trump card. Wang Xian and the rest landed on Xiaolan's body. Xiaolan swayed its huge body and swam forward. Swish swish swish. Not long after, 8 figures appeared where Wang Xian and the rest were. Each of them was stepping on the books formed by faith. His eyes flickered as he scanned the surroundings. The Dragon King of the Dragon Palace and the rest have just left. There must have been a huge battle here. Let's go and continue our pursuit. The 8 7th-order gods spoke as they continued their pursuit in the direction of Wang Xian and the rest. They were extremely fast and weren't any slower than Wang Xian and the rest. Wang Xian dodged and fled. After flying for more than a month, Lan Qingyue finally lost track of the 8 7th-order gods. The pursuit skills of the Faith universe are really impressive. They can lock onto us so accurately. They are really something. Lan Qingyue couldn't help but exclaim. Chapter 3844. The experts of every universe can't be underestimated. It feels like the Conviction universe is much stronger than our 9 Essences universe. Upon hearing Lan Qingyue's question, Wang Xian replied, That's true. The Faith universe is far stronger than our 9 Essences universe. Lan Qingyue nodded her head and said, I just don't know which one is stronger in front of Tianyuan and creation. It's very likely that it's still the Faith universe. After all, they've occupied 2 universes. According to the information I've received during the last cataclysm, the Faith universe had 5 kings of gods, the supreme gods, said Wang Xian. The king of the gods, the supreme god, these were the titles given to the powerhouses who believed in the universe's heavenly primordial creation. I wonder what the situation will be like when the cataclysm arrives this time. When the time comes, there will be many universes colliding. It will definitely be very terrifying, Lan Qingyue said. But now, just the 9 essences universe and the Faith universe were fighting in the starry sky. At that time, all the universe passageways would be opened and there would be no suppression between the various universes. This was definitely a bloody feast. At that time, the strength of our Dragon Palace will be enough to deal with the cataclysm. Wang Xian smiled and said confidently. Currently, he had enough resources to raise his cultivation to the 4th order sovereign realm. In other words, he could fight against a 9th order sovereign realm expert. If he could advance to the 7th or 8th order sovereign realm, would he be able to resist Tian Yuan's fortune? If he advanced to the 9th order sovereign realm, would he be able to slaughter the fortune of heaven's origin? That might be a possibility. Wang Xian chatted with Lan Qingyue. After flying for more than a year, they sensed the presence of the crystal treasure again. They moved and immediately flew over. The crystal ahead seems to be of a higher grade. Wang Xian and the rest flew over and said. Lan Qingyue nodded her head. With a wave of her arm, a wave of energy grabbed the crystal energy. However, just as Wang Xian and the rest were about to strike, a horrifying roar was heard. Not good, there's a powerful star behemoth. When Wang Xian and the rest heard this roar, Lan Qingyue's expression changed slightly. Whoa! Xiaolan growled. Without any hesitation, they fled in another direction. An undefeatable star beast? Wang Xian asked solemnly. He had also felt an oppressive force from the giant star beast's low roar. Yes, we shouldn't be a match for it. Let's hope it doesn't chase after us. Lan Qingyue nodded her head with a solemn expression. That giant cosmic beast shouldn't be chasing us. I feel like it's very far away from us, said Wang Xian with a frown. After all, this was the edge of the boundless starry sky. It was extremely dangerous for them. They changed direction and flew for about a month. The Dragon King of the Dragon Palace and the rest are just ahead. They didn't escape immediately. This time, our concealment of the power of faith might be of some use. Intercept him and use the power of the stellar domain fragment. One of the rank 7 gods bellowed. Alright, let's get rid of it and leave this dangerous place. The other 7 tier 7 gods immediately responded. I can sense it. At this moment, they sensed the aura of Wang Xian and the rest. At the same time, in order to avoid the galactic beast, Wang Xian and the rest swam in another direction for a month. Woo woo woo. Just when they felt that they could finally heave a sigh of relief, Xiaolan and the rest suddenly reminded them. Lan Qingyue looked to the side immediately and narrowed her eyes. The experts from the universe of faith are chasing us again. They have been behind us all this while. Lan Qingyue looked over and said. Wang Xian also raised an eyebrow and revealed a cold look in his eyes. The gods from the universe of faith were really like dogskin paste that couldn't be shaken off. Leave now. Wang Xian hesitated for a moment before saying. Lan Qingyue nodded her head. Since they dared to chase after them, they must have a trump card. Damn the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. You guys can't escape this time. At this moment, a furious voice sounded. Soon after, Wang Xian and the rest saw 8 figures stepping on the books of faith and flying towards them. Wang Xian frowned when he heard them. He moved his palm and a soul spear appeared in his hand. Swish. Wang Xian swung his arm and the soul spear in his hand shot towards them. Courting death. We can't let him escape this time. Kill them. When the 8 rank 7 gods saw Wang Xian attacking, their eyes were filled with cold murderous intent. They moved their palms and blue fragments appeared in their hands. The lock fragment was small and only the size of a palm. With a swing of their arms, the fragments rose above them. The 8 fragments instantly merged together to form an even larger fragment. The 8 rank 7 gods waved their arms and injected a stream of power of faith into it. One by one they appeared around the star field fragment of Wang Xian. Soon 8 meteorites of faith that looked like stars flew towards Wang Xian and the rest. First of all, the 8 meteorites of faith collided with the soul spear. Bam! In just an instant, the soul spear collapsed and the condensed soul power dissipated instantly. Under this attack, the soul spear was completely obliterated and disappeared. Wang Xian sensed the soul spear being obliterated and disappeared from the world. His expression changed drastically. Because he had been nurtured by his mind, He felt a backlash when the soul spear was obliterated. He couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. After colliding with the soul spear, only one of the 8 meteorites of faith was consumed. The remaining 7 continued to attack Wang Xian and the rest. The speed was terrifying. Oh no, their attacks are terrifying. This is definitely an attack comparable to a pinnacle ruler. Run now. Wang Xian said to Lan Qingyue immediately. Lan Qingyue naturally knew how powerful the soul spear was. Her expression changed slightly when she saw this, and she didn't hesitate to order Xiaolan to take them and flee. At the same time, he waved his arm and condensed spears that shot towards the remaining 7 meteorites of faith. Wang Xian also condensed the energy of the 5 elements grindstone and the Tai Chi dragon plate and charged towards the remaining 7 meteorites. The speed of the universe of faith was too fast. They couldn't avoid it and had to face it head-on. Bam bam bam. Terrifying sounds of collision were heard. The 7 meteorites seemed to carry the power of the entire universe and were exceptionally terrifying. Chapter 38:45. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Terrifying collisions were heard. The strongest attacks from Wang Xian and Lan Qingyue landed on the 7 meteorites and collided with them. The terrifying energy caused the surrounding seawater to collapse and dissipate instantly. Similarly, the 5 elements grindstone, Tai Chi dragon coil, and the attacks from Lan Qingyue gradually dissipated. After the attack, Wang Xian and Lan Qingyue did not hesitate as they continued to flee. However, Wang Xian and Lan Qingyue heaved a sigh of relief when they saw that the attacks from Wang Xian and Lan Qingyue had completely blocked the 7 meteorites. When their attacks disappeared, so did the meteorites. What a powerful treasure. How can it be so terrifying? Lan Qingyue's face was filled with shock as she couldn't help but exclaim. Their combined attack was almost on par with a pinnacle sovereign realm expert's attack. However, they did not expect their all-out attack to merely block a casual attack from the other party. If the other party were to launch a few more attacks, they would not be able to withstand it. They would be easily crushed and destroyed. They were not on the same level at all. We are no match for them. The Faith Cosmos is indeed able to bring out such a terrifying treasure. I wonder what level it is at. Wang Xian was equally shocked. A soul treasure that was as strong as a 9th order sovereign realm expert shattered under that one attack, dissipating into nothing. This was not an ordinary attack. An ordinary attack could destroy the spiritual spear, but it would not dissipate into the air. However, their attack caused the soul spear to completely disappear. Terrifying. This involved a powerful and mysterious energy. Let's go. Speed up. Wang Xian shouted again as the 5 elements grindstone was channeled to Xiaolan. Lan Qingyue nodded her head. Similarly, a surge of energy landed on Xiaolan's body to increase its speed. Their speed had suddenly increased by a level. Trying to escape? Once you are locked on by us, do you think you can escape? Stellar field fragment, stellar field chain. Behind them, the eyes of the 8 infinite deities were cold and sinister. They waved their arms and channeled energy into the stellar field fragment. Illusions of stars appeared one after another. These illusions of stars instantly appeared around Wang Xian and the rest. They appeared out of thin air and were extremely terrifying as though they were teleporting. What kind of ability is this? When Wang Xian saw this, his expression changed drastically. They had already distanced themselves from the 8 gods, but they did not expect that this strange energy would still appear around them in an instant. 8 planets surrounded them tightly. The planets were just illusions, but Wang Xian and the rest could sense a mysterious force. Wang Xian's expression changed slightly. He looked at Lan Qingyue and immediately sent a message to her. Let's go. Let's split up. I have a way to escape instantly. Alright, my husband, be careful. Lan Qingyue looked at Wang Xian and nodded her head heavily. She knew that Wang Xian had a treasure that allowed him to teleport. Therefore she wasn't too worried. Now that Lan Qingyue was here, she would be a burden. Wang Xian swept his gaze across the 8 astral shadows surrounding them. With a swift move, he immediately flew to the left. As for Lan Qingyue, she flew towards the right. At the back, the group of gods saw this scene and their eyes narrowed slightly. They actually split up and ran away? Lock onto the Dragon King of Dragon Palace and eliminate him first. A rank 7 Pantheon said. Alright. The rest of the Pantheon responded immediately. With a wave of their arms, surges of energy were injected into the star field fragment. Buzz buzz buzz. The 8 astral shadows flickered slightly and flew towards Wang Xian instantly. Wang Xian sensed this scene and his expression changed drastically. These 8 stars were extremely mysterious. He couldn't sense any attack power from them but a unique energy. Wang Xian could sense that if he was hit by this energy something bad would definitely happen. Lan Qingyue looked over, gritted her teeth and left quickly. At this moment Wang Xian was extremely calm. He wasn't worried. Even if he really died this time, he would have sufficient resources to recover to his current realm quickly. After all, he had stored a huge amount of resources. Buzz buzz buzz. Wang Xian shook his body and a shadow dragon doppelganger appeared at the side. Buzz. In the next second the strangest thing was that when the 8 stars were still a distance away from Wang Xian, they disappeared instantly. He felt a surge of energy entering his body. What kind of mysterious attack is that? What kind of treasure is that? Could it be a heavenly yuan creation level treasure? How terrifying. Wang Xian's body shook when he sensed the mysterious energy. Buzz. His body instantly crumbled and dissipated. The doppelganger at the side replaced the main body. Shadow Dragon Doppelganger. It could withstand Wang Xian's deadly attack. When the other body of Wang Xian disintegrated, he could feel the energy within his body vanishing. This made him heave a sigh of relief. That strange energy had been evaded. In the next moment, without any hesitation, he continued to flee forward at a terrifying speed. Wang Xian's eyes lit up when he sensed the distance between him and Lan Qingyue. This move was actually dodged by him? We can't let him go. The 8 rank 7 Pantheon saw this scene. They were slightly shocked and their faces were filled with astonishment. Their figures moved and they immediately gave chase at high speed. Trap him in this starry sky. Starfield lock. One of the rank 7 Pantheon roared. With a wave of his arm, a surge of energy continued to be injected into the starfield fragment. Buzz buzz buzz. The other 7 Pantheon gods also injected their power of faith. Walalala. In an instant, an invisible chain appeared and chased after Wang Xian instantly. It's done. Seeing that Lan Qingyue was already a distance away, Wang Xian waved his hand and the space scroll appeared in his hand. This was his last chance to use it. Without any hesitation he used it. Buzz. Buzz buzz. His figure started to turn illusory. However, to Wang Xian's shock, he saw the illusory and mysterious chain entering his body instantly. Before he could sense it, the scenery around him had changed drastically. Teleportation was a success. However, Wang Xian sensed a surge of energy in his body. This made his heart sink. His mind moved, wanting to get rid of it, but he found that he couldn't get rid of it no matter what. This made him frown. What's going on? A chain appeared directly in my body. Illusory and creepy. I have a bad feeling about this. Wang Xian's face darkened. This was the first time he had encountered such a mysterious and horrifying treasure. It was similar to a curse but not a curse. It seemed like a binding force. Chapter 3846. Huh? That Dragon King escaped. He teleported away? What treasure is that? How did he manage to escape? In the ocean at the edge of the boundless universe, the 8 rank 7 gods were astonished when they saw the Dragon King disappear. Don't worry. The Dragon King has been locked in our star field. He won't be able to escape. He will be trapped here forever. One of the rank 7 gods said. Although he can't escape, our star field's treasure is just a fragment. The range of the star field is too large. The chain can only trap him in this large range, but it can't teleport him here instantly. We need to search for him bit by bit, and we can't leave this range. One of the rank 7 gods frowned. The space fragment in their hands was a fragment of a Heaven Yuan Fortune Grade treasure. It possessed a portion of the Heaven Yuan Fortune Grade treasure's abilities. This included the stellar field chain. Once the stellar field chain entered one's body, it was equivalent to entering the Heaven Yuan Fortune Grade treasure. As long as one was within a certain range, it could pull one back instantly. This range was extremely vast. After all, it was the Heaven Yuan Fortune Grade treasure's range. It covered a very wide area. Even if they searched all of them, it would take them 10,000 years. 10,000 years, and this was under the condition that the Dragon King of Dragon Palace did not move. Once he escaped, it would depend on their luck. Moreover, because it was a shattered Heaven Yuan Fortune Grade treasure, it lacked many of its abilities. They could not leave this area. Once they left, the stellar field chain's effects would disappear. Regardless, the stellar field chain's abilities were still terrifying. As long as we can trap that Dragon King within a certain area, we will have a way to kill him. If 1,000 years isn't enough, then 10,000 years. If 10,000 years isn't enough, then 1,000,000 years. Even 10 million years is fine. We will be able to kill him sooner or later. One of the rank 7 gods said, his eyes gleaming. The other rank 7 gods nodded in agreement. Come, let's go look for the Dragon King. If we're lucky, we might be able to find him in a few years. After all, our pursuit of faith can still last for a few hundred years. One of the rank 7 gods said as he flew forward. We have to kill him within a few hundred years. Otherwise we'll have to rely on our luck. Let's talk about it when we get back. At the same time, Wang Xian was observing his surroundings from another location. After sending a message to Lan Qingyue, he immediately sent a message to Enlai. After receiving it, Enlai quickly appeared beside him. Let's go. Wang Xian gestured to Enlai. Enlai nodded and shrouded Wang Xian with his energy. Buzz. However, Wang Xian disappeared in an instant. To his surprise, he did not return to the Dragon Palace. Instead, he was still in the ocean at the edge of the infinite starry sky. He frowned and his expression kept changing. Dragon King? What happened? I sensed that you suddenly disappeared when I was teleporting you, Dragon King. Dark Blaze's message quickly arrived. When Wang Xian saw this message, he was shocked. Dark Blaze's ability had actually failed. Just what kind of power can render Enlai's teleportation useless? You should know that even the defenses of the 9 Essences Universe's blessed paradises are useless against Enlai. What kind of treasure is that? How could it be so strange and powerful? Starfield fragment, is it just a fragment? If even a fragment possesses such power, then... Wang Xian focused his eyes and had a guess in his mind. If a single fragment possessed such power, then this fragment could only be a fragment of a treasure. A heavenly Yuan creation level treasure. Wang Xian was not surprised that Faith Universe could take out a heavenly Yuan creation level treasure. He was not too surprised that Faith Universe could take out a heavenly Yuan creation level treasure. However, he did not expect the gods of Faith Universe to use such a treasure just to deal with him. They really think too highly of me? Wang Xian murmured. Now he was in trouble. He seemed to be trapped in a realm. He tried to fly forward, but a solid chain suddenly appeared in front of him. This chain completely blocked the path in front of him. Rumble. With a thought, Wang Xian held a soul spear in his hand and attacked it. However, the attack did not leave any mark on it. This kind of defense was obviously not something Wang Xian could break. I can't break it, I can't avoid it. Moreover, I don't know how big this range is. If it's small, then I'll be in trouble. Wang Xian murmured. If this range was really small, then he might really die here. He moved his palm and left a mark here. After which, he flew along the edge of this area. After flying for a year, he had not reached the location he had marked. Seems like this range is really big, so big that it's beyond my imagination. Moreover, those 8 gods did not chase after me. Seems like they don't know where I am. Wang Xian said. However, there was still a problem. They had a way to lock onto his location. In other words, they were still looking for him. How troublesome. I'd better continue to hide. When Xiaolan and the rest advance, I'll definitely make Faith Universe pay a terrible price. Wang Xian said with cold eyes. He moved and continued to fly forward. His speed was fast, not any slower than those rank 7 gods. In fact, he was much faster. After all, he had a soul warship that was comparable to a rank 9 god. As Wang Xian flew forward, he found an energy crystal. He scanned the surroundings and flew over immediately. With a wave of his arm, he kept the energy crystal. With a slight movement, he continued to fly forward. He did not know if that place was deep in the ocean or at the edge. He kept flying in one direction. After flying for a few days, he encountered another energy crystal. This surprised Wang Xian. The number of energy crystals was beyond his imagination. What's going on? Am I in the depths of the ocean? Wang Xian guessed. As the teleportation scroll teleported him randomly, Wang Xian could not tell the direction. However, looking at the number of energy crystals, Wang Xian felt that he had entered the depths of the ocean. He became vigilant, slowed down a little and flew forward. Chapter 3847. What's this? Wang Xian had been flying aimlessly in the ocean. He was filled with curiosity after encountering 2 energy crystals in a row. After flying for more than 10 days, he was shocked by the scene before him. It was a realm of crystals. Densely packed crystals condensed from water energy. These crystals were not the kind that contained majestic energy. They were ordinary crystals condensed from ordinary seawater. A huge crystal palace appeared in Wang Xian's sight. These crystals were scattered in this sea region without any pattern. They were densely packed and one could not see the end of them. He looked around curiously and hesitated for a moment before entering. This place is a little strange. There are definitely treasures in it, but it's also 100% dangerous. Wang Xian murmured. He hesitated for a moment before flying in. Under the condition of ensuring safety, he flew for more than 10 days but still did not fly out of this row of spaces. His figure moved and hid in a crystal, waiting just like that. Wang Xian hid here, thinking that if the 8 gods were to chase after him, he might attract the attention of the crystal creatures or the giant beasts of the galaxy in this space. If the crystal creatures and the giant beasts of the galaxy could destroy them, he could leave this place. With this thought in mind, he hid here and waited quietly. He did not wander around this space wantonly. Wandering around in the infinite starry sky without any scruples was undoubtedly an act of courting death. Wang Xian hid here. If he was found by the 8 gods, he would have to consider escaping. What if they encountered the horrifying existences here? Of course, Wang Xian also knew that the chances of that happening were not high. But this was the only way for him at the moment. Time passed day by day. Wang Xian hid here and did not move. At the same time, on the other side of this ocean, the 8 rank 7 gods were flying towards Wang Xian through the guidance of the tracking of faith. In fact, Wang Xian had used the instant teleportation scroll to escape a very long distance. He had widened the distance between him and them. This was also the reason why the 8 rank 7 gods could not find any trace of Wang Xian after chasing him for a few years. The only thing they could be sure of was that Wang Xian was within the range of the stellar domain fragment. As long as it was still within this range, they would have a great chance of capturing it and killing it. Time passed quickly. After flying for hundreds of years, the 8 rank 7 gods had yet to arrive at Wang Xian's location. This made them frown slightly. The energy on faith tracking can only last for a few decades. If we can't find the Dragon King within these few decades, we might have to spend even more time. A rank 7 god said with a frown. There's no other way. We have to eliminate the Dragon King of Dragon Palace. This place is rather deep. If our Faith Universe's army were to come here, they might attract the attention of the mighty space beasts in the endless starry sky. We can't take the risk and let them come over. A rank 7 god said. As long as we seal the Dragon King of Dragon Palace here, we'll be fine. He can't improve here, but the pantheon of gods outside can. Without the Dragon King of Dragon Palace, it'll be much easier for our Faith Cosmos to destroy the 9 origin cosmos. We just need to trap him here. Moreover, after tens of millions of years, our Faith Cosmos will give birth to even more powerful treasures. At that time, we can send a large number of experts to search and eliminate the Dragon King of Dragon Palace easily. One of the rank 7 gods glanced at them. That's true. Anyway, we can't let him escape from this area. One day, we'll be able to eliminate the Dragon King of Dragon Palace. A rank 7 god in the middle nodded. Let's go. We can't give up now. It'll be beneficial if we can eliminate the Dragon King of Dragon Palace as soon as possible. The 8 rank 7 gods continued flying forward. After a few decades, they arrived at the realm filled with crystals. Here. The 8 rank 7 gods frowned as they looked ahead. They looked at the guidance of faith tracking and exchanged glances. The area ahead is very likely to be dangerous. One of the gods said as he looked ahead. There must be treasures or space beasts in a special place. The Dragon King of Dragon Palace might be hiding in there. One of the gods said, "Let's go. We have to go in and check it out." There are only a few days left until faith tracking. We have to go in. The 8 gods continued to fly deeper into the cave. After entering, they also had vigilant expressions on their faces. Spheres that looked like stars hovered above them. This was the protection of the stellar field fragment. With this stellar field fragment, they could deal with a 7th-order sovereign realm giant beast. However, it would be a little difficult to kill a 7th-order sovereign realm giant beast. The 8 of them entered through an entrance that was not the route Wang Xian had taken. In fact, Wang Xian had forgotten the entrance he had entered through as he was surrounded by crystals. He didn't dare to leave any energy marks. After flying for a few days, the 8 gods suddenly felt a chilling aura locking onto them. Following which, a roar was heard. Oh no, there's a giant beast of space. When one of the Tier 7 gods heard this roar, his expression changed and a look of horror flashed in his eyes. Gotcha. However, in the next second, the sound of crystals shattering could be heard. A crystal creature appeared behind one of the gods. With its terrifying and bizarre speed, it arrived in an instant. The crystal horn on its head collided with his back. The moment the crystal horn collided, the star above its head enveloped it. The crystal horn collided with the protection of the star. Instantly, cracks appeared on the entire protection of the star. However, he managed to block this attack. Seeing that its attack had failed, the crystal creature moved in an instant and disappeared into a crystal. When it entered one of the crystals, it seemed to have disappeared. Damn it, it's not a giant beast. It's a strange creature. It's fast, comparable to a pinnacle god. However, its attack power should only be at the level of a rank 8 god. The ambushed tier 7 god bellowed. Be careful, gather together. If it attacks again, destroy it. The 8 gods gathered together with bitter expressions as they scanned their surroundings cautiously. Chapter 38-48. The 8 rank 7 gods were not as lucky as Wuxia. They were ambushed by a crystal creature. The strength of this crystal creature was about the same as the one Wuxia had faced previously. With the strength of the 8 rank 7 gods and the stellar domain fragments in their hands, they killed it in an extremely short time. What kind of creature is this? Aren't there only galactic beasts in the starry sky universe? How can there be such a creature? And it's so strong? After killing it, the 8 rank 7 gods heaved a sigh of relief as they looked at the corpse suppressed by the stellar domain fragments. They were shocked by the crystal creature's speed from the battle just now. Its bizarre speed was as though it was teleporting. It could even disappear into the crystals. If not for the stellar domain fragments, it would have been difficult to kill it. If this crystal creature was stronger, the stellar domain fragments wouldn't have been able to destroy it. One of the rank 7 gods said with a grave expression. Even if they had gotten rid of this trouble. This was the first creature they had encountered, and it was already so powerful. Were there stronger existences in there? The other 7 gods also nodded solemnly. Let's go. Be careful from now on. One of the rank 7 gods said. The 8 of them continued forward. But this time they were even more vigilant. Their speed had also dropped by several levels. We can't go on any longer. The tracking of faith is about to disappear. Half a month later, one of the rank 7 gods looked up at the tracking energy in the sky and said. The other 7 gods also had helpless looks on their faces. The tracking of faith's energy had been exhausted. If they wanted to continue tracking, they would have to use it again. But this tracking ability wasn't something they could succeed with just a few of them. This kind of chasing ability required an enormous amount of faith power. At the very least, it would require the strength of a few million armies to succeed. But now, the armies of the faith universe couldn't step into this ocean. Because of the stellar domain chains, they couldn't leave this place. Let's stick to our original plan. Even if we don't move, we have to stall the Dragon King of Dragon Palace here. One of the gods said. This was an order from the elders of the 24 starry sky universe. We can't afford to waste time. Let's take our time to search. One of the gods looked at them. The other 7 nodded and continued flying in the direction faith had pointed them to. However, without the guidance of faith tracking, it would be 1,000 times more difficult to find the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. The star domain chain, a supreme treasure of fortune of heaven's origin, was too terrifying. Even if it was a fragment of heavenly primordial fortune. Time passed little by little. Wuxia explained the situation to Lan Qingyue. He told Lan Qingyue not to come here for the time being. Instead, she should bring Xiaolan and the rest to continue leveling up. When Xiaolan and the others broke through, they would come here to save him. Next, he would kill the 8 rank 7 gods. After receiving the news, Lan Qingyue nodded her head solemnly. She immediately led Xiaolan and the rest to search for resources and treasures to improve themselves. Millions of years passed in the blink of an eye. In these tens of thousands of years, Wuxia had successfully nurtured another spiritual object. The soul spear that was destroyed by the star field fragment was also replaced. In these tens of millions of years, the 8 gods did not pursue them. Along the way, Wuxia tried to get Enlai to bring him back, but it still failed. This meant that he was still within this seal. Wuxia guessed that this seal wasn't unbreakable. A powerful force could break this seal. However, he didn't have the strength to do so. Therefore, he could only wait. In these tens of millions of years, the Dragon Palace had developed at a terrifying speed. After obtaining the million soldiers and hearts of faith that Wuxia had brought back for Enlai, the disciples of the Dragon Palace had almost no obstacles in their improvement. 1,000,000 soldiers and over 80,000 rank 7 gods. Over 100 rank 7 gods. This allowed the Dragon Palace to improve at a terrifying speed. In these tens of millions of years, the number of rank 7 sovereigns in the Dragon Palace had reached 200. However, all of them were of the charmed dragon species. As for the rest of the sovereigns, there were over 50,000. And this was under the condition that the hearts of faith had not been used up. The improvement of the Dragon Palace was absolutely terrifying. In these tens of millions of years, the war between the Faith universe and the Nine Origins universe had intensified. Especially a few million years ago when the army of faith from the Faith universe had arrived, the Nine Origins universe had fallen into a great crisis. At this time, the pinnacle races had unleashed their strongest trump cards and strength. Because of Wang Xian, only 13 of the 24 palaces had clashed with the pinnacle races of the Nine Origins universe. This also prevented the experts of the Nine Origins universe from suffering a crushing defeat. However, the battle wasn't too intense. All the plans of the 24 palaces had been disrupted by Wang Xian. If not for Wang Xian, the 24 palaces would have long destroyed the Nine Origins universe. This gave the Nine Origins universe a chance to breathe. The Dragon Palace didn't participate in this battle. Wang Xian had ordered all the disciples to focus on improving their strength. This was also because the Dragon Palace didn't have top-tier combat strength. Lan Qingyue was working hard with Xiaolan and the others to improve. He was trapped here. This also meant that the Dragon Palace didn't have the combat strength of an 8th Order sovereign. Not to mention a 9th Order sovereign. Secondly, the Dragon Palace didn't lack the hearts of faith. If they had the time to fight, they might as well go to the depths of the universe and search for some treasures. Moreover, Wang Xian had destroyed the army of faith from the primordial Heaven Palace. In terms of results, the Dragon Palace had killed the most gods in the entire Nine Origins universe. Moreover, if he hadn't delayed the power of the faith universe, the Nine Origins universe would have been defeated. Time continued to pass. In the blink of an eye, another 10 million years had passed. Wang Xian tried to leave this place again, but to no avail. 30 million years passed by quickly. Wang Xian wandered around the area in boredom. In these 30 million years, he had stabilized the energy in his body and tempered the energy in his body. In the meantime, Guan Shuqing and the other girls had accompanied him for a million years. Therefore he didn't feel too bored. Compared to the past, his control of his energy and combat experience had improved a lot. After all, there were many book sources and the books were complete and updated quickly. Let's go to the right. I've already checked the left side. The right side belongs to the depths of this crystal area. In these 30 million years, Wang Xian would occasionally check the surroundings. He had already checked the left side. That was the location of the exit and it was relatively safer. However, he was prepared to go deeper to see if he could find any treasures. Chapter 3849. It's already been 30 million years. I wonder when I can leave this space. If Blue Moon still hasn't broken through after another few tens of millions of years, I might as well commit suicide and be reborn. Wang Xian mumbled to himself as he flew to the right of the crystal region. After being trapped in this place for 30 million years, Wang Xian should really consider committing suicide if he couldn't get out. After committing suicide with the progenitor tree around, he could revive. As for not being able to revive, this was something that Wang Xian had not thought about. The star domain fragment was most likely a fragment of a heaven origin fortune treasure, but the progenitor tree was a true heaven origin fortune treasure. Even if it hadn't grown to its peak, it should at least be stronger than a heavenly origin fortune fragment. With that in mind, he scanned his surroundings. In front of him, to his left and to his right were 4 dark ghost clones. Wang Xian had to be extremely careful when exploring this space. The nether ghost clones were spread all around, ready to flee at the slightest sign of danger. Moreover, Dark Ghost's clone was able to pull away from him. Even if he ran into a 7th Order Sovereign Realm space beast, he would have enough time to escape. The 4 Dark Ghost clones warily observed their surroundings as they continued forward. This time Wang Xian was prepared to go deeper. Whoosh! Bam! Half a month later, the Dark Ghost clone in front of him suddenly sensed a terrifying power attacking it. By the time Wang Xian reacted, the Dark Ghost doppelganger had already suffered a fatal blow. Buzz! Wang Xian quickly shifted his consciousness and the doppelganger of the nether ghost before him disappeared instantly. This is that kind of crystal creature. Wang Xian recalled the Dark Ghost doppelganger and summoned it again. He realized that the soul war armor around the doppelganger had been damaged and needed time to repair. In just a split second, Huang Xiaolong's battle armor that was comparable to an 8th Order Sovereign Realm expert was destroyed. The strength of this crystal creature should not be weaker than the crystal creature they had encountered previously. Change direction. With a thought, he directed the Dark Ghost doppelganger behind him to deviate a little and continue exploring. After changing directions, they didn't encounter any more attacks from the crystal creatures. After flying for another half a month, Qin Feng finally arrived. What's that? Suddenly Wang Xian's eyes widened and his face was filled with shock and disbelief. In front of them were densely packed energy crystals. Unlike ordinary crystals, this was an energy crystal that contained boundless energy. The energy contained in each crystal was definitely of a higher grade than the energy crystals that Wang Xian and Lan Qingyue had obtained, and the number of energy crystals was no less than 50. Why are there so many energy crystals all of a sudden? This is simply too crazy. If we can obtain it, wouldn't little Lan and the others be able to improve immediately? Wang Xian's eyes lit up as he quickly scanned the surroundings. The nether ghost clone examined them, and then his body blurred, instantly arriving in front of the 50 crystals. Buzz. The dark ghost doppelganger stretched out his arm. Energy enveloped all the energy crystals and they flew towards Wang Xian in a frenzy. The crystal energy was an external object. Unless the doppelganger of nether ghost refined it, it could not be brought to Wang Xian in an instant. However, Wang Xian did not have any scruples at this moment. With so many energy crystals, he had to go all out. If he could get his hands on it, then his harvest would be too great. Then he could leave this place, even if it was dangerous. But at most, Dark Ghost's clone would be shattered and reformed. Once he could get his hands on it, he would make a huge profit. However, a roar came from the back. When Wang Xian heard this sound, his heart tightened. Indeed, there was a powerful giant galactic beast guarding the energy crystals. Wang Xian gritted his teeth and commanded the Dark Ghost doppelganger to burst forth with his fastest speed. Whoosh. However, in the next second, Wang Xian sensed an incomparably huge crystal beast suddenly appearing in an ordinary crystal. Although this crystal beast was much smaller than ordinary giant galactic beasts, it was still hundreds of thousands of meters in size. It looked the same as the crystal creatures he had encountered previously. The only difference was that its energy was abnormally terrifying. The moment it appeared, Wang Xian did not hesitate. He immediately controlled the Dark Ghost doppelganger to throw the energy crystals in his hands in all directions. Roar, roar. The crystal beast opened its mouth, eyes blazing with anger, and let out a violent roar. Pieces of energy crystals immediately flew into its mouth. At the same time, the Dark Ghost doppelganger felt a terrifying energy rushing towards him. This sent the Dark Ghost doppelganger flying forward. With a thought, the Dark Ghost doppelganger disappeared instantly. Wang Xian did not hesitate. Netherworld Dragon Transformation. He instantly appeared in the body of the Dark Ghost doppelganger behind him and began the transformation. After that, he recalled all the Dark Ghost doppelganger and fled. There was no reluctance to leave. Sensing that the crystal beast did not chase after him, he heaved a heavy sigh of relief. This crystal beast's strength is at least in the 7th Order Sovereign Realm. It might even be in the 8th Order Sovereign Realm. Wang Xian muttered. However, even if it was in the 7th Order Sovereign Realm, it was still in existence that could easily kill other 7th Order Sovereign Realm giant galactic beasts. That terrifying aura was too strong. Indeed, this area is not that simple. Over 50 crystal beasts are not that easy to obtain. Wang Xian's eyes flickered, then he shook his head. After recording the location, he hesitated for a moment and found a place to recover. After recovering his strength to its peak, he prepared to continue exploring. Since the current situation was not good, he might as well take a gamble. At most he would die. If he did not die, he might turn into a motorcycle. Just now he had already seen the motorcycle. However, it was a pity that he could not get it over. Changing to another location, Wang Xian continued exploring. Damn it! More than 30 million years have passed. Could the Dragon King of Dragon Palace have already left this region? Should we leave this place? It's too dangerous here. At the same time, in a location not far from Wang Xian, 8 figures were advancing. Their faces were solemn. All right, don't you think this is a good opportunity for us? A 7th Order god looked at the grumbling gods and said plainly. He indeed. If not for killing the Dragon King, we would not have the right to use the Stellar Domain Fragment. Now that we have the Stellar Domain Fragment, although this area is dangerous, our gains are not small. A 7th Order god narrowed his eyes and said with a smile. Chapter 3850. Although the risk is high, the rewards are not small. If not for the Stellar Domain Fragment, we wouldn't have been able to get so many treasures. Indeed. The energy of these crystals is also useful to us. Let's continue exploring. Perhaps we can get a lot of treasures. That's right. Even if we can't find the Dragon King of Dragon Palace, if we can get our hands on the treasures in this area, it will be a great harvest for us. The 8 rank 7 gods spoke with a faint smile on their faces. Even the rank 7 gods who had ridiculed them earlier nodded with a smile. Then let's continue exploring. We can't go to the back anymore. It's dangerous there. Let's go to the front. The rank 7 god said. The other 7 nodded. Let's continue. With the stellar domain fragment, the 8 rank 7 gods could unleash the strength of a 7th-order sovereign realm star beast. This strength could be said to be the strongest fighting force in the Faith universe. With the help of the stellar domain fragment, they had obtained many benefits in this space. As a result, they had even put the matter of hunting the Dragon King of Dragon Palace on the back burner. After all, given their strength, it was impossible for them to use such a treasure. Only the pinnacle existences of the God realm had the right to use such a treasure. Moreover, such a treasure could only be unleashed in the hands of the pinnacle existences of the God realm. The 8 of them continued to fly forward. However, what they did not know was that they were getting closer and closer to Wang Xian. At the same time, Wang Xian also did not know that the direction he was exploring was getting closer to the gods of the Faith universe. The dark ghost doppelganger was still scouting ahead. A month later, Wang Xian suddenly sensed a familiar energy coming from the front. When he sensed this energy, he was slightly taken aback. This is the power of faith? There are experts of the Faith universe ahead. They are still here, still looking for me. Seems like that treasure of theirs has some limitations. When he sensed the gods of the Faith universe, Wang Xian understood. Indeed, there was a limit to this kind of binding ability. There should be a limit to the distance. Once they left this place, he might be able to break free. I've been discovered. At this moment, Wang Xian sensed through the dark ghost doppelganger that the power of faith was approaching him rapidly. Wang Xian narrowed his eyes and retracted the dark ghost doppelganger without hesitation. I can feel the Dragon King's aura. Is he really here? Yes, the Dragon King of Dragon Palace is still hiding inside. It's been more than 30 million years. He's still good at hiding. A few seconds after Dark Ghost's doppelganger disappeared, the 8 rank 7 gods arrived at its previous location. Their gazes swept across the surroundings, and their eyes shone brightly. It should be in that direction. Let's continue the chase. The 8 rank 7 gods moved and flew towards Wang Xian's direction. They should be able to sense me. At this moment, Wang Xian did not hesitate at all. However, at this moment he was taken aback. During this period of time, he had also gained some understanding of the surrounding area. An idea popped into his head. It wasn't too far from here, about a month away. It was the area where the giant crystal beast was. He had some understanding of the surrounding area. What if he was the one to attract the 8 rank 7 gods of the starry cosmos? Wasn't that right? His eyes flickered. Without any hesitation, he controlled the dark ghost doppelganger and flew in that direction. At the same time, he released some energy to guide it. Over here. Behind him, the 8 rank 7 gods did not hesitate and immediately gave chase. They did not have any suspicions. To them, the Dragon King of Dragon Palace was scouting ahead. How could they be in danger when they were behind? Even if there was danger, it would be the Dragon King of Dragon Palace who would be in danger first. Moreover, their combat strength was a level higher than the Dragon King of Dragon Palace. Even if they were in danger, the Dragon King of Dragon Palace would die first, and they could escape. The 8 rank 7 gods were in hot pursuit. Because Wang Xian was fleeing according to the route he had taken, and with the dark ghost doppelganger scouting the way, his speed was also very fast. The 8 pantheon gods gave chase from behind while Wang Xian fled in front. Both sides were moving at high speed. With the soul worship, Wang Xian's speed was slightly faster than theirs. After fleeing for about a month, Wang Xian came to the place where he had encountered danger last time. He immediately controlled the 2 dark ghost doppelgangers to fly to the left. Once they encountered danger, Wang Xian would also use the dark dragon transformation. After that, the 2 dark ghost doppelgangers advanced carefully towards the giant crystal beast. The Tai Chi dragon disc appeared around him, and the power of yin and yang enveloped him completely. His figure was hidden in a crystal, and he did his best to conceal his aura. As for the dark ghost doppelgangers, they carried their own aura and continued flying. Over here. Before long, Wang Xian sensed a surge of power of faith flying towards his right. The corner of Wang Xian's mouth curved. That direction was the giant crystal beast that the 2 dark ghost doppelgangers were heading towards. The 2 dark ghost doppelgangers flew, and the deeper they went, the more they concealed their energy. To prevent encountering the giant crystal beast. Previously, the giant crystal beast had been further away and had not suffered a major attack. If it had been closer, the giant crystal beast would have been instantly killed. 10 minutes later, the 2 dark ghost doppelgangers arrived at the place where they had explored last time. And the 50-odd energy crystals were still there. There was still no giant crystal beast there. Wang Xian also did not understand why the giant crystal beast had placed the energy crystals here. The dark ghost doppelgangers waited for a while. Before long they sensed the auras of the 8 rank 7 gods. The eyes of the 2 dark ghost doppelgangers flashed as they continued flying forward. Do you see the Dragon King of Dragon Palace? Gem? No, that doesn't seem to be the true form of the Dragon King of Dragon Palace. At this time the 8 rank 7 gods behind them saw the 2 dark ghost doppelgangers, and their eyes narrowed. At this moment they saw the 2 dark ghost doppelgangers wave their arms. 50-odd energy crystals containing vast amounts of energy flew towards them. This stunned the 8 rank 7 gods, and they stared at the 50-odd energy crystals. Their breathing quickened as they sensed the energy within them. Even they felt the heat from these 50-odd energy crystals. Chapter 38:51. More than 50 energy crystals suddenly flew into their hands. The 8 rank 7 gods were dumbfounded. However, they did not hesitate and immediately put them away. Roar! Roar! In the next instant, an enraged roar resounded. The 2 nether ghost clones did not hesitate and instantly disappeared. Him? This is the Dragon King's trap. There's an astral beast here. Leave this place immediately. The 8 rank 7 gods narrowed their eyes when they heard this roar. They knew that they had fallen for the Dragon King's trap. However, it was impossible for them to throw out the 50 energy crystals. The 8 of them did not hesitate and immediately fled into the distance. But at this moment, when the crystal behemoth saw them putting away the energy crystals, its eyes were filled with rage. Its figure flashed and instantly disappeared into one of the crystals. Its body was tens of thousands of meters long, yet it disappeared into a 10-meter wide crystal. It looked extremely strange. In the next second, it appeared in the crystal in front of the 8 rank 7 gods. It directly burrowed out of the crystal. When the 8 tier 7 gods saw this scene, their expressions changed drastically, shock appearing on their faces. How can this crystal behemoth move so quickly? How did it instantly burrow out of the crystal in front of us? Not good fight. The 8 rank 7 gods did not hesitate. They sensed the crystal behemoth's aura and waved their arms, summoning the stellar field fragment in front of them. Buzz buzz buzz. They instantly injected their energy into the stellar field fragment. The crystal behemoth stared at them with bloodshot eyes and slammed the crystal horn on its head at them. The 8 rank 7 gods paled when they sensed the terrifying energy contained within. However, at this moment, a resplendent star appeared in front of them. The star directly attacked the crystal behemoth. The star collided with the crystal behemoth's head. Boom! With a deafening explosion, the 8 tier 7 gods were sent flying by the shockwave. The crystal behemoth shook its head and retreated hundreds of thousands of meters. One crystal after another shattered. The giant crystal beast went berserk, and the surrounding water seemed to be boiling. His figure moved and disappeared in an instant. Damn it, this giant crystal beast is at least at the 7th order realm, be careful. When the 8 rank 7 gods saw the star behemoth charging at them again, their expressions turned ugly. The strength of this star behemoth was terrifying. Starfield Flaming Star. The 8 tier 7 gods exchanged glances, and with a wave of their hands, sent a stream of energy into it. Boom boom boom. In the next moment, flaming meteors appeared behind them one after another. The densely packed meteorites covered the sky and covered the earth. In this sea they were like flaming magma, emitting a terrifying aura. The endless flaming meteorites rushed forward. At the same time not far behind them. When the battle broke out, Wuxia immediately ordered the dark ghost doppelganger to fly over to observe the battle. When he saw this scene, his eyes were filled with astonishment. The gods of the faith universe use the power of faith, but they can actually use the power of fire with the help of this stellar field fragment. That's strange. In that case, this stellar field fragment must be a heavenly yuan creation treasure. Wuxia murmured. Last time he did not fight with the 8 rank 7 gods and had instead fled. Now, seeing their combat strength with the help of the stellar field fragment, Wuxia was a little shocked. Just a stellar field fragment could reach such a level. He dared not imagine how terrifying a heavenly yuan creation treasure was. As for the progenitor tree, it was a supportive heavenly yuan creation treasure, not an offensive one. In this aspect, it could never be compared to an offensive heavenly yuan creation treasure. He hid at the back watching the battle. This stellar field fragment was powerful, but the crystal behemoth was not one to be jealous. The strength of the crystal behemoth was equally terrifying. Facing the flaming meteorites, the crystal behemoth crawled out of a crystal. It opened its mouth, and the endless seawater around it condensed into water dragons to meet the flaming meteorites. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Terrifying sounds of collision rang out once again. Once again, the crystal behemoth disappeared. Damn it. The flaming meteorites of the stellar field fragment have been blocked, and the crystal behemoth has disappeared again. When a rank 7 god saw this, his expression darkened, and he bellowed with an ugly expression. Baron Starfield, shake off this crystal behemoth. A rank 7 gods roared immediately. Streams of power of faith surged into the stellar field fragment. The other 7 gods of faith also surged their power. A destructive power slowly erupted from the fragment of the star domain. This was a force of death. This wave of energy shrouded the surroundings. Everywhere it passed, the seawater retreated. It was as though everything with energy and vitality had to retreat. Bam! The crystal behemoth collided with this shroud of energy, and its eyes revealed a look of fear. It took 2 steps back in shock and anger. However, in the next moment, its body also bloomed with azure light. The light surged forward. However, this ray of light still rapidly retreated in the face of the nirvana energy. However, the azure light quickly enveloped the nirvana energy. Boom, boom, boom. The seawater around them rumbled. The surrounding seawater seemed to be under the crystal behemoth's control. The seawater seemed to be completely under the crystal behemoth's control. The battle had begun. This wave of nirvana energy was forcefully compressed. What? This crystal behemoth is very strong. We might not be its match. Think of a way to escape. A rank 7 god's expression darkened when he saw this. Alright, stellar field, 8 stars alignment, let's go. The 8 rank 7 gods focused their gazes, and boundless power of faith once again surged into the stellar field fragment. 8 stars appeared beneath their feet. Whoosh. The 8 stars revolved at high speed, bringing them along as they fled towards the rear at an abnormally terrifying speed. As they fled, the barren starfield disappeared. When the crystal behemoth saw them trying to escape, the crystal horn on its head suddenly flew out. The ordinary crystals in the surroundings began to gather. Chapter 38:52, BZZZ. BZZZ. A terrifying crystal horn flew out of the colossal crystal beast's head. In the surroundings, countless ordinary crystals swarmed towards the crystal horn. In an instant, they entered the colossal crystal beast's horn. The horn, accompanied by the influx of countless ordinary crystals, released an extremely terrifying power. The horn carried a terrifying might as it slammed into the 8 tier 7 gods. The speed of the horn was even more terrifying than the 8-star alignment of the 8 rank 7 gods. After all, this was the colossal crystal beast's territory. Not good. When the 8 rank 7 gods sensed the colossal crystal beast's horn flying toward them, their hearts raced and their faces contorted in fear. This was especially true for the last rank 7 god. When he saw the horn flying toward him, he was filled with fear. Block! He hurriedly shouted. The other 7 rank 7 gods gritted their teeth and prepared to pour energy into the stellar domain fragment to block the horn. Boom! However, the horn suddenly sped up and disappeared in an instant. In the blink of an eye, it reappeared behind the rank 7 god and slammed into him. A terrifying collision resounded. The rank 7 god's body instantly crumbled under the terrifying force. No, no, no. Save me. Save me. Sensing death looming over him, the tier 7 god bellowed in despair. Oh no. Damn it. The other 7 rank 7 gods grimaced when they saw this. They could not save him in time. A rank 7 god was slain by that terrifying horn. The horn's power continued to attack the second tier 7 god. Quick, block this attack. The second tier 7 god in the rear felt his heart skip a beat when he saw the incoming attacks, and he bellowed in horror. Stellar Domain White Dwarf. The rank 7 gods at the front roared as the stars beneath their feet disappeared. A white planet filled with heaviness crashed towards the horn. Boom, boom. The white dwarf collided with the horn. The tier 7 god, who was at the center of the explosion, coughed up a mouthful of blood under the impact of the explosion. Faith, sacrifice, healing. He hurriedly shouted, and the shadows of his believers appeared in the sky above him. One by one, the illusory figures of the believers crumbled and turned into the power of faith to resist the impact. Below him, the powerful book was also resisting this terrifying attack. Pupillo. However, the collision between the horn and the white dwarf was too terrifying. His body plummeted downwards, all signs of life instantly gone. Not good. With the 2 of them dead, we'll have 2 fewer star domain fragments to control. Their power will be reduced by a quarter. When one of the Tier 7 gods saw that the one-horned behemoth had killed 2 of his members, his expression turned grim. Final counterattack Starfield Black Hole Tide Run. A Tier 7 god bellowed, pouring faith power into the Starfield fragment. The remaining 5 Tier 7 gods also hurriedly channeled their power of faith into their bodies. Black holes appeared one after another, heading straight for the unicorn and the giant crystal beast. Buzz. The powerful horn was swallowed by a black hole and came out from another black hole. However, after the horn appeared, its energy was greatly weakened. At the same time, it was very far away from them. The giant crystal beast hurriedly dodged the attacks of the black holes. The 6 Tier 7 gods did not hesitate, fleeing madly into the distance. Haha, they've lost 2 Tier 7 gods. They're much weaker now. We can't let them get away so easily. We need to create some trouble for them. Behind them, the 2 Dark Ghost avatars watched the scene unfold once more. The 2 Nether Ghost clones waved their hands, summoning soul spears in their hands. Dark Ghost's avatar hid at the side, quietly waiting for an opportunity. Now's the time. When they were fleeing in this direction, Yi Zichen's eyes lit up. The giant crystal beast continued to chase them, and the surrounding seawater attacked them. The remaining 6 Tier 7 gods hastily used the power of their starfield fragments to defend themselves. A second after they used the power of the starfield fragments, Dark Ghost's avatar's soul spear pierced towards 2 of the Tier 7 gods. If these gods didn't rely on stellar domain fragments, they wouldn't be strong at all. Relying on the faith books in their hands, they could at most fight against 8th Order sovereigns. The soul spear was a killing weapon against 9th Order sovereigns. The instant they used the starfield fragments, the soul spear arrived in front of the 2 Tier 7 gods. The sudden attack caused the 2 Rank 7 gods to be shocked. A sneak attack. It's the Dragon Palace's Dragon King. That damnable Dragon King is ambushing us. The 2 Tier 7 gods who were being attacked hurriedly roared in response. With a wave of their hands, the faith books beneath them instantly blocked the attack. At this time, the starfield fragments could no longer be used instantaneously. BFFF. BFFF. However, in the next second, the soul spear pierced through their faith books and pierced through their heads. The terrifying power caused them to die instantly without even having the chance to scream. Whoosh whoosh. Dark Ghost's avatar controlled the soul spear and sent the 2 corpses flying towards them. That damnable Dragon King. Seeing 2 of their companions die in an instant, the remaining 4 Tier 7 gods were enraged. Of the 8 Tier 7 gods, only 4 remained. This caused their control over the starfield fragments to plummet. The amount of power they could mobilize was also halved. Their eyes were bloodshot as they watched the scene unfold. Grab the corpses. The energy crystals are there. One of the Tier 7 gods immediately roared. Brr. But at this time, the crystal beast's roar came from behind them once more. When the remaining 4 Tier 7 gods heard this roar, their bodies trembled violently. There were only 4 of them left. The 4 of them weren't a match for this crystal beast. Feeling the lethal aura coming from behind them, they exchanged a glance and gritted their teeth. Go! They roared with unwillingness and hurried to the space above the starfield fragments. Waves of energy surged into the starfield fragments, and the starfield fragments carried them away. The soul spear pierced through the 2 corpses and flew towards Dark Ghost's avatar. The 2 Dark Ghost avatars stared at the crystal beast. They were betting that if the crystal beast continued to chase after the 4 Tier 7 gods, they would be able to smoothly collect the 2 corpses. Then, they would be able to obtain the 50+ energy crystals. Chapter 3853. The 2 Dark Ghost doppelgangers stared at the giant crystal beast warily. Boom. But soon Wang Xian made the wrong bet. The giant crystal beast could sense the location of the energy crystals. It moved and flew towards the corpse pierced by the soul spear. The Dark Ghost doppelganger's face darkened. He immediately abandoned the soul spear and returned. In the next instant, the Dark Ghost doppelganger disappeared and the soul spear flew towards Wang Xian. I failed. I couldn't reap the benefits. Seeing the 2 Dark Ghost doppelgangers enter his body, Wang Xian waved his arm and kept the soul spear. Subsequently, the Dark Dragon also disappeared and flew out. Behind him, the roars of the giant crystal beast could be vaguely heard. Although he did not get the 50-odd energy crystals, he had killed 4 rank 7 celestial beings. This vented the anger in Wang Xian's heart. Moreover, without 4 rank 7 celestial beings, their strength had dropped by more than half. Now Wang Xian could face them again and leave safely. If Lan Qingyue were to come, The 4 rank 7 celestial beings would not be a match for them even with the help of the stellar field fragment. Wang Xian thought to himself. Without any hesitation he contacted Lan Qingyue and the rest. Xiao Xian, what's the situation? Sun and Lai brought Lan Qingyue to Wang Xian. Out of the 8 rank 7 celestial beings, 4 are dead. Even if the other 4 have powerful treasures, they are no match for us. Let's go and find them. Let's see if we can find them and kill them. Wang Xian said to Lan Qingyue. Roles reversed. The reason why Wang Xian wanted to kill the other 4 rank 7 celestial beings was for revenge. Most importantly, it was for the stellar field fragment in their hands. The stellar field fragment was very powerful and could release all kinds of energy attacks. The power of flames, the special energy of nirvana, and the power of black holes. This was all because of the powerful stellar field fragment. If Wang Xian could get his hands on it, he would have made a killing. After all, this was a heavenly yuan creation level fragment. All right. Lan Qingyue nodded her head and said, if we can eliminate them, there might be unexpected rewards. Xiaolan isn't far from breaking through now. Just now, there was a certain chance of obtaining more than 50 star domain fragments. Unfortunately, it failed, said Wang Xian. Xiaolan and the rest were currently in the 6th order sovereign realm. It wasn't easy for a 6th order sovereign to break through to the 6th order sovereign realm. For many 6th order sovereigns, breaking through to the 6th order sovereign realm in 100 million years was considered extremely fast and heaven-defying. Xiaolan and the others had just broken through to the 6th order sovereign realm. Only 30 million years had passed, and if he wanted to improve quickly, he would need a large amount of resources and treasures. According to the speed of its growth in the past 30 million years, Little Blue would need another 10 million years or so to improve. After all, Lil Blue's current cultivation level was extremely high. Leveling up was not that simple. Let's go look for those rank 7 gods now. As long as we destroy them, Xiao Xian, you can leave this place. We'll hide for more than 10 million years. When Xiaolan and the rest break through, we'll take revenge. Lan Qingyue said. Wang Xian nodded. Let's go. They should be in this direction. Lan Qingyue nodded. Since Xiaolan and the rest were too huge, they were ordered to stay outside. Once a battle broke out, Xiaolan could come over instantly. Wang Xian and Lan Qingyue moved and flew in the same direction. Damn it. After the 4 of them died, we can only use half of the Starfield Fragment's power. If we encounter the Dragon King of Dragon Palace now, we won't be able to take him down. At the same time, the 4 rank 7 gods were fleeing for their lives. At this moment they were extremely embarrassed. There were a total of 8 Starfield Fragments and every one of them had been refined. They were only borrowing the power of the Starfield Fragments. They had not refined them. Now that half of them were dead, it meant that they had lost half of their strength. With the help of the Starfield Fragments, they could no longer match the strength of pinnacle gods. I've already reported the situation on our side. One of the rank 7 gods said solemnly. Yeah. This is all because of the Dragon King's trap. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in such a miserable state. One of the rank 7 gods nodded with an ugly expression. We have to eliminate the Dragon King of Dragon Palace as soon as possible. One of the rank 7 gods beside him said with a murderous look. Initially they weren't in a hurry. But now they had to eliminate the Dragon King of Dragon Palace as soon as possible. If they were the ones to die in the next trap, it would be a huge loss even if they could resurrect. They had to eliminate the Dragon King of Dragon Palace as soon as possible. The 4 rank 7 gods reported the situation on their side. At the same time, at the location of the Universe of Faith, the elders of the 4 palaces frowned slightly when they received the news. They looked to the elders of the other 4 palaces. The experts with the Starfield Fragments on your side are dead. I've received the news. They were set up by the Dragon King of Dragon Palace and killed by a giant beast of Galactic Beast. We will send more people over. An elder nodded calmly. He had just received the news. The rank 7 gods with the Starfield Fragments had the treasure to resurrect. The moment they died, they had already sent the news to him. They also understood the outcome of the matter. I feel that we should eliminate the Dragon King of Dragon Palace as soon as possible to avoid trouble. The elder said. Indeed. Eliminate the Dragon King of Dragon Palace first, and eliminate the experts of the other peak races of the 9 Origins universe second. An elder nodded. Then we'll send all the rank 7 gods of the 10 palaces. But be careful not to provoke the powerful giant beast of Dragon Palace. Sure. Find the Dragon King of Dragon Palace and eliminate him as soon as possible. Don't make any more mistakes. The rest of the elders nodded in agreement. Now that 30 million years had passed, although they had been fighting the Nine Origins universe, they had become stronger and stronger. There had been no earth-shattering war between the universe of faith and the Nine Origins universe, and there had been very few casualties. Both sides had exercised some restraint. While fighting, they searched for resources and fortuitous encounters. As a result, the strength of both sides had not decreased. Instead, it had increased. Of course, if not for the Dragon King of Dragon Palace, they would have sent their entire army to destroy the Nine Origins universe. There was a reason why the 24 palaces had not gathered all their strength to fight the Nine Origins universe in the past 30 million years. The 24 palaces knew that the Nine Origins universe was the only basis for their cooperation. Without the Nine Origins universe, they would have internal strife over the resources of the star universe. Hence, if they really wanted to fight, they had to get rid of all the hidden dangers. Especially the Dragon King of Dragon Palace, who could single-handedly destroy an entire palace army. This hidden danger had to be eliminated first. Invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation System. That you're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.